It matters in every state. Swing state. You could be in a state that has, like Louisiana, where everybody's used to low gas prices. It goes up just a little bit and people are extraordinarily attuned to it. And obviously, this is the talk of the town, particularly when you see prices increase over the weekend, which is very rare. And you see them hike exponentially 10, 15, 25, 30 cents a gallon just in the course of a couple of days. We're only on day 10 of this war and we're nowhere near the end. So the gas price issue is critical, and what Republicans are going to be talking about in Florida this week.
We used a Bloomberg terminal this morning to calculate the cost of John Tucker's H2 Hummer to fill it up. It's $112 now for him to do a complete fill up. And if we pop $4 a gallon, it goes up to $128.
I mean, it's hard to fathom that President Trump is now, Henrietta, saying that $100 oil is, quote, a small price to pay, and that the cost will come down rapidly in his view once this threat is over. I'm not so sure it is going to rapidly fall. What do you think?
No, it's wildly out of touch and shows that he probably hasn't pumped gas in a really long time. I'll tell you what I think is the most
I saw him over on Henrietta. I saw Donald Trump Jr. Donald Trump Sr. John, the gas station over on First Avenue, right by the 59th Street Bridge. I saw the president pumping gas there one day.
That left several years ago.
Continue, Henrietta.
I think that was just a picture of the president. I don't think he was pumping anything. But what I would focus on and what I think is really fascinating to hear from right now are the catastrophic risk and war insurers of the tankers. I mean, here you have a situation where we need the strait to be reopened. And if you cannot insure those tankers, if you cannot compel anybody to get on those ships, even with a Navy sortie to take them through the strait, you're not going to fix this problem. And we are well into week 2 now of that shutdown. So to Alex's question in the outset, this is not something that can quickly be turned around. There's no silver bullet that just fixes the situation that we're in. We're going to be in this space, even if the war were to end tomorrow. We are still dealing with, as you mentioned, Saudi Arabian shutdowns, other nations nearby shutting down their production. This is something that will extend well into probably the next couple of weeks, if not months.
Right.
If the war even ended tomorrow.
You don't just flip a switch and it all goes back to, pre-Iran attack. That we got both the House and the Senate. They narrowly rejected these war powers resolutions. What other options does Congress have at this point?
Yeah, they had to take that war powers vote as fast as possible because the House of Representatives is out of session all week this week, so they won't even be back until March 16th. So they really had the opportunity to get that vote out of the way quickly, let the president continue the war and perpetuate it into the rest of this week. He's been telling members that this was going to end on Friday. They expected a very rapid end to this, and they obviously misjudged the Iranian counterparts. And now we're going to be in a situation where they get back. They have no housing bill ready. They have no election bill ready. They have no crypto bill that can move. We need to talk about a second reconciliation package or a bipartisan effort to spend money on the Pentagon and others.
Yeah, but the problem is, Henrietta, when you were at Fordham studying British literature, you learned the Crimean War was going to be over in 6 days. I want to focus, Henrietta, just as a last question here right now. You mentioned that they're on recess or whatever. Our military, our Navy, our Army, our Air Force, they're not on recess. With all your contacts, how exhausted are the men and women at risk?
Just look at the TSA, look at the airlines and the airports that people are dealing with. I think we're on day 21 of the DHS shutdown. And now the military is deployed overseas on 2 aircraft carriers with tons of these incredible aircraft and planes that don't often get deployed. And they're all over there. They're all doing their job. Meanwhile, Customs and Border Patrol, which is also shut down, is having to deal with the fallout of $175 billion worth of tariffs being returned. It's completely out of touch for the Republicans to be out of D.C. in Florida. I can't believe Speaker Johnson didn't call them back, except for it makes perfect sense because they don't want to be in town voting against the president's war powers, which they're going to have to do when they get back. So they're delaying the inevitable, talking about mail-in ballots.